otherwise it starts echoing. I'm really trying hard to stop saying this and figuring it out. And nobody in the comments until now told me, Shikha, this is a solution to this. Beginning of your interview has to stop because yeah, and it's just going to. Ah,
I think we're on.
we are on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But are we moving or are we static?
I
Yeah. Anyway, for me, it's become static. Are we on?
suppose we are. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So when it echoes, and it'll stop it in the middle.
Sure.
So good evening, everyone. Hi, Kavita is there. So we are on. I can see the
Yes.
comments. So it's frozen for me. The screen is totally frozen.
Is it?
Facebook
Oh,
screen. So Kavita is on in comments. Moving. Yes, she's moving. I'm telling you, there's going to be a full snippet of these 100 interviews, and the beginning of my what I have to say and what I have to deal with is going to get cut and made into a film just for fun to release. That what I had to go 100 times in 100 interviews to do this. That's the fun part about live, Eliza. Good evening, and we have really sweet and beautiful person here, Eliza baby, and she is. We've not spoken a lot because we already had Kavita who done the interview, and I totally connected to her there. And I know so much about her because of Kavita's interview. So thank you, Kavita, for doing that interview. It was absolutely inspiring to see this young girl doing so much with so much love, so much passion, and honestly, a beautiful heart. Even if I've not met you so much, I could see it through that interview. You have a very beautiful heart, and I'm so happy that you're one of the moms in the book, Eliza. Welcome, and let's go ahead and introduce yourself. What do you do? What is speech therapy? How do you deal with different kinds of patients? And then we move forward.
okay. Thank you so much for actually making me one of the champion mums, as you say. Right. So this is Eliza. I am simple. I think that's how I would start it off as. I'm a loving person. I love dancing. I love singing. But otherwise, I'm a speech language pathologist by profession. That itself, too many words together. I'm a dysphagia specialist also, but career wise, I've chosen a path which is very fulfilling to me. We treat patients in terms of rehabilitation, as in if they have speech disorders, communication disorders, or swallowing disorders, regardless of their age. So we treat from infancy to adulthood and elderly. So that's my career aspect that's driven me in the past 5 years to 5 to 8 years. I think that's all I can talk about when I introduce myself as my career. So right now I'm at a position where I head a clinic and I have a great team of 5 to 7 or full-time working people.
Yeah.
So and I have a beautiful family. We're based out of Bangalore, India, and I hope to continue what I'm doing, and I hope to keep meeting people like you through such virtual interactions and getting appreciated mutually, of course. That I think.
And you're a mom of an 8 month old that you forgot, which is that's why you're basically here.
Yes,
You're a mom
yes,
of
and
an
that
8 month old baby.
that he's been the highlight ever since in the past 2 years. Yes, from the time I conceived to now, it's been a roller coaster, but yes, it's
Like
been.
every mother's journey. But I think he would be the youngest baby among still now for sure. Any mother who has the youngest baby. So it would be awesome to even talk to you about him because we've not spoken about babies. We've spoken about teenagers. We've spoken about kids
Yes.
who are married and grandmothers and grandchildren, but we've not spoken about babies. And I think it goes so fast. It moves so fast for a mother that
Yeah.
she actually, it looks when she's in it that my god, every single day is like, what are we doing, what's happening, etc., etc., and we're rolling towards it and we're trying to make it perfect. Well, it passes so quickly because I'm the mom for the second time. It passes so quickly that I actually don't remember my older one being a baby. I remember some moments, but like I see him now, this boy, and I interact with him in a different way. So it will just, guys. So I'm glad that you're enjoying it. You're a total inspiration with many things, Eliza. And before we move on to you being a mom, um, why did you choose this? It's such a special. I can actually visualize um, what happens when you get success in the field that you are chosen. Like what happens when I can visualize that if I am one of the family members, if I am one of the patients, because just like it's like in photography, we consider that it's just a photograph, and there's so many layers of psychology and subconscious mind, and so much thing happens that when a person gets that one beautiful picture of themselves, don't even know how many layers of subconscious is connected, and feel good factor goes down the lane that I am gorgeous, I am beautiful, I am worth it. And
Okay.
with something like you, it's a medical condition. I'm just saying, even photography itself can uplift you like this. Imagine giving what you give back to your patients, and how much more confidence and coming back would be happening. And you're so passionate about it. So let's talk about that.
Okay, well, of course, that the field that I have chosen is, like I said earlier, fulfilling is the word.
Right.
So, how I give back to the family is my best. And, when we speak about post stroke or individuals not able to communicate, that's when it hits not only them, but the people around them. So, they have put somebody, for example, now if the head of the family has suffered a stroke, let's just start there. Now, you have put that person on a pedestal, like, this person is authoritative or whatever. But
Right.
then suddenly the patient is being treated like a child. That's
Right.
where I start off therapy with that's not, they are aware of what's happening, around them. So, when I treat holistically. It is not just the patient, it's just not the family, it is everything together. And whenever we get a small success, to me that just makes my week.
Yeah.
And I don't look at one session as something, okay, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, we need to take care of it, get it over with.
Right.
No, I cannot sleep at night if I've not gotten that goal for the one which I've planned for that day. So, that's how much of heart and soul I put into it. And by God's grace, and we are getting results. I'm not saying that we do 100% of the time, but whenever we do, we're very grateful for it. And the family's response is the ultimate. And, whenever people get back to work after being completely mute or not able to swallow even one droplet of water, when they get back to doing everything, the kind of humility, the kind of the gratitude that they show is like, sometimes I feel like, did I do this? Did I play that kind of a role in their lives? So it's unbelievable, but at the same time, that gives me the drive to keep going on. So that's the,
Right.
I don't know if I'm able to put that into words, but yeah, that's
I mean,
that's the kind of feeling I get.
when you're talking to a person who feels like that, I'm telling you, I feel like that about my profession. I've always felt like that about my profession. That's why I was trying to tell you. Even with a picture, when I get hugs and I get somebody saying, "Oh, I look gorgeous and I look beautiful," and you see something in me that I didn't see, I feel so good. For you to succeed in what you are doing, like that's life changing, and absolutely, I think anybody would be so grateful that that can happen, because something like swallowing, which we take for granted, like swallowing, yeah, that's what
I
we,
know.
and which is taken away from you, it can be very suffocating.
I mean, just to
Right.
think, just
Yeah,
to think that you can't swallow your own saliva, something as simple as that.
yeah.
How much disturbance would it cause to you, to the people around you,
Oh
and
yes,
then not being able to get treated for that, even though services are available. That's what breaks my heart.
yes. And
Can be treated.
I had my, I just, when I was talking to you, I remembered, I had my dad's sister who literally raised me, because I was raised by my mom not being there. I was raised by many, many mothers. Sometimes somebody. So my dad has a big family. And I was very close to her because she brought in a lot of emotional balance into me. And when she got a stroke, I was with my baby, who was, I think, the age of your baby. And I just, like, she was already going through a lot, and then she got a stroke, and I couldn't meet her because I was in the middle of a new baby, maybe 2 months old probably. And I said I can't go to her, but I sent her this electronic xylophone that I had, and I told my dad, why don't you print, because she couldn't speak, right? And so I said, why don't you print a toilet picture? Why don't you print a food picture? Why don't you print medicine picture or some picture? And she can just press that, because that's going to make a sound. And there were six buttons on it. And I said, that'll make a sound. So even if she wants to speak, she can actually tell you very clearly, because I knew she was very, confident of who she was, yeah, self-respecting, and she wouldn't want to be not being able to express. And then
Right.
what happened the next day was, it came back to me. Like, she just sent it back. She's like, I don't want it. I don't want this help. And
Hmm.
I was just like feeling so, even as a family member who and something broke in her. Actually, I don't want this. I don't want this toy. I don't want to express through this, right? And even if I was trying to make it easier, I was trying to be intelligent. Even if I was trying to do that, she didn't want it. And of
Hmm.
course, I lost her, and she'd already gone through a lot of medical things before that, and we lost her after 2 months, and I hardly got to meet her because I was busy. And I also remember, like she'd accepted the fact that she can't speak so much after, and she was sitting in one of my rooms, and me being me, I was just putting things of my child inside the bag, and I was just like dumping it in, and she just like,
Hmm.
and I was like, she was seemed very angry, and she was like, look at her, she's not got these manners still to just put it properly and do it. And I
Hmm.
hugged her and I said, I wish you could scold me, the way you scolded me. And she couldn't speak and she cried. And so I totally understand as a family member, family members get helpless. And then you bring that to her. I wish, like I knew you, I would have definitely said, Eliza, do something with her, let her speak. So this is an emotional thing. And what is the most emotional patient? Because you seem to be very emotional and attached to your patients, and you can totally understand what I'm saying, because I think family members go through that. So what has been the most emotional moment for you in any patients that you've ever treated?
Not repeatedly quoting only dysphagia patients. That is, dysphagia is the term that we use for swallowing,
Right.
and whenever there's a issue with swallowing. So I'd like to quote from each. One from this and one from the younger generation also, because that's why I'm here.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. So one of the it was long back. I think it would be 10 years ago when I was just under training, and it was my first dysphagia patient. I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that this man just came with a cup in his hand and he says, I can't even swallow my saliva. Kuch karo iske bare mein. So, I mean, I'm grateful to my professors at NIMHANS, that's in Bangalore. They are the ones who gave me the training for what I know today in this particular area. And that particular patient came and told me once he started swallowing in 3 weeks' time, he told me that this is something that is going to take you very far. He blessed me that day. He's like, I don't know you outside of this place. I don't know what you're going to do, but I know that this particular treatment that you do is going to take you far. That something in me changed, and probably subconsciously I knew that this is going to be the area that I may end up in. So that one blessing was it's always going to be very special to me. And that too, it's 10 years ago, and that stuck to me till now. And I don't know where that patient is now. It's very long back. I don't even know if he knows if I'm practicing, but I hope he doesn't need my services right now.
I hope so too.
Yeah, and in terms of kids, there was this 8-year-old who had not spoken at all, who's had multiple issues, something we call cerebral palsy. That's when the brain has an injury during birth or, before while they're in the womb. This child had not spoken at all. So they've been giving many therapies from all over the world, but they came and this was probably 5 years ago. This kid said, Amma for the first time in the session,
Oh,
and that just broke. The mother broke down in front of me. You say, you're God, you're this. The kind of respect that I'm not craving for that respect, but I shed a tear that day, because
right.
the kind of emotions that she brought out that day, I was like, okay, I think I stumbled upon in the right field. These
Seriously.
are the two very emotional things that I have really come across in my professional life yet, and I hope a lot many keep coming, so that we know we're doing what we are meant to be doing.
Yeah, and Patina is here, and Patina Amma is mom. Uh, in South
Oh,
India, they call, is it South India? That's it? South India is it mom, because in our we North Indians, we just, so I've only heard Amma in the South when I was in Bangalore. So
mhm.
so I'm just letting Patina know, and that's such an emotional moment because um, that's what my one of the questions had to be, that because this is all a ride of a mother, when it happens to that mother whose child is dealing with any kind of issue, and they're dealing with different kind of issue. I mean, this lot happens to that mother as well, because sometimes she blames herself. She She goes into the guilt that is it because of me? Is it because I did something wrong? I didn't eat something right? I was okay or not? Something went wrong. And it becomes like this roller coaster ride for her. And then she sees, of course, her child going through it. And the moment you just described is definitely one of her magical moments, apart from being your magical moment, because 8 years is a long time to, wait to even hear the word mom,
Very long.
right? And we all are moms and we can absolutely relate to it. Just we keep saying, oh my god, the house is so much noise, they're just going crazy, and we'll just go blah 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 the whole day, and then suddenly they go for one day or half a day to some place and the house is silent, and then we're like, the house is too silent. Like this, like this happens to me because sometimes
I
I'm
know.
and I'm like, oh my god, like so much noise, I need some break. And then suddenly they actually go and play for 5 hours. So I'm just looking for them because I'm like, so for a mother to go through that.
It's a universal feeling, I must say, Shikha, that one, needing a break. And then once you are on it, you'll be
Yeah,
like, no, probably I don't need it.
yes. That's the mother. That's the mother. Why do you think I wanted to get 100 shades of mothers in? They're not 100 shades. There are thousands and there are millions of shades of mothers because um, every mother is different. And I don't know how many volumes of this book it might come ahead. It might not stop at this 100. It might be volumes of books coming in. The whole
I
idea of this
know.
book
I
is,
in agreement.
yeah, the 100 shades of mothers. And you're definitely a beautiful shade of mother as well, and you're one kind of a mother. What I love about you, Eliza, and whatever little I know about you, of course, I am a very people's person. I interact with many people. I've always done in 20 years of my life, career, everything. I can totally see that how your passion drives you, and how that one moment of success is not only for you, is such a success and celebration of what's happened to that family that elevates you, which is absolutely commendable and beautiful. So you definitely deserved that blessing, and you definitely must keep moving with this passion. And I can also say that you're going to reach places. We are live today.
Oh.
You're going to reach places because in Kavita's interview also you said something which is absolutely apt. If you are passionate and if you do things with full immersion and full passion, there's no way anybody can stop you from success anyway. Success will follow. And recently I was getting all with this project taking me, and I've always got into big like, projects and immersed myself. But this time I was doing it online with world women, mothers coming across, and I went to this moment where I said, um, I went to my husband and I said, I don't know where will I get this money to do this. Like I'm saying, I don't want sponsors because I don't want anybody to interfere with this. I don't want anybody to come and say, put my logo here and put my logo. I've given you so much money. So how will I get the money and this thing? Maybe I should start doing some workshops on the side, because I was getting no time to do anything else. But I said, okay, doesn't matter. I'll push myself and I'll do some workshop, get that money, put that, in. And then he just told me, he's like, you're just forgetting what you always love. And I'm like, what? He's like, your passion has driven you to places you've never imagined. Why are you forgetting that? And I came back and I wrote something it's on my table, on my computer, is for myself. It says, focus on the creation and not what it creates, because whatever it creates, it will happen on its own. I've written that. So I'm focusing on the creation and you are focusing on your patient, and whatever will happen will happen. It will happen as a result of your focus. So hats off to you for that, for
Mhm.
sure. So what's been your journey as a mom? Let's hear that journey of being a new baby mom. Were there surprises, or were you already knowing? Because I like asking this question. I thought I would know everything. I'm a baby photographer. I knew nothing about anything right when the child came. So how is the journey?
The journey, if you ask me, it's not, you can't expect that this is going to happen. No matter how much you prepare for it.
Yeah.
So if I've had 6 to 7 years of training to understand the brain, to understand how development takes place and how aging takes place.
Right.
I thought it would be natural. Okay, I know this. This is how it's supposed to be. I preach people. This is how the baby develops. This month mein ye hoga, then this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen. Now, when I look at myself, I'm like, did I just turn off my brain career wise or my professional wise And now I'm just looking at my child. Oh, this is, oh, very nice. Oh, you're talking, you're babbling now. Very good.
Yeah.
It's unexpected, but it's every time he reaches a milestone, it's a celebration for me too. Right?
Absolutely.
Even though I know it's supposed to come there, but that's something I would totally, as a mother, take it as, oh, that's so nice, you did it so soon. Oh, why didn't you do it till now?
Yeah.
Those kind of things are there.
Yes.
But I wasn't prepared. In all honesty, I didn't want
Yeah.
my, the hat of a mom to be anywhere discolored by what I already knew. I just wanted to learn on the go, and luckily, my parents and my in-laws, they're all very well versed and very experienced with children, so they've also been helping me through the journey. So we're all learning as we are going, and this is the first kid in on either side, like a grandchild. So everybody is learning. By God's grace, things are okay, but yes, it's good.
Yes, and I totally, we've joined by somebody who is Gia, and she's also a baby photographer, and she knows when you're a baby photographer, the amount of gyan you give, the amount of gyan you give to the mothers, no, it's unbelievable. Like the whole thing that you teach, you just go into their world because they desperately want those great pictures. You go and give your all your gyan to them, that it should be like that and it should be like this, and then you do the setups and you give them great pictures. You hug them, you love them, you hug the baby, you leave, right? And when it came to taking pictures of my own baby, I was like, what the hell did I just do with this mess? Who's going to clear this mess I've done? Like, this is what I've been doing to mothers. Really, this is the mess I've been creating in their house and just leaving by hugging them and kissing them and saying, okay, bye. And really, in the morning, I reached at 7 o'clock in the morning to their house because the light was very good and she's had a sleepless night and not. So you don't know. And when her husband got married, also he told me that when we have kids, it's going to be like, you know how to hold them, you know how to raise them, he's like, I'm crying some days and I'm like,
I know.
there, and I'm just like, sleepless nights, breastfeeding, my God. And I started apologizing, I did a lot of shoots, so I started apologizing to a lot of mothers after I became the first time mom, and I used to go for shoots and I used to say, I'm really sorry, I will help you put this back, I know it's a lot of work, I know it is too much. And that was a shift that happened, because you never know till then that
No.
so similar profession, you've studied brain, I studied some psychology of children, but it just hits you in different ways. And on a serious note, it hits a mother even about the stuff she has learned
True.
while growing up as a child, or things that's happened to her as a child, and whatever her environment and her stuff is, all that comes crumbling onto you when you're holding the child of your own, and you're trying to figure out the night, the day, the tiredness, the everything, and trying to be this perfect mom. So that's why I keep saying that this movement is finishing all judgment for me forever, because every mom is different and every mom has a story, and every mom will do the best she can, even if it doesn't look on the outward. That's what she can do, or that's
Yes, that's her best. That's her best. That's all we can ask
her
of
worst.
anybody.
Even if it's her worst, if she doesn't want to do it. Like, there are mothers I
I-
speak to who are guilty, and by any standard they think they could have done better. But even if they're not doing better, even if they're doing worse, it's just we can embrace them, because it was also coming from their childhood. It was coming from where they were. Were they in an abusive marriage? Were they prepared? Were they physically ready, financially ready, not ready? I don't know what was happening. Were they able to take it? And that all came onto the children. And that's why this project is coming up with 100 inspiring mothers, to inspire them that things crumble, but we can uplift ourselves. So we have done the mistakes if we think we have, and mistakes happen from all of us. If you think, let's not sit into it. Let's change it, change ourselves, uplift ourselves, bring the light, and keep moving. And
I mean, you cannot, I mean, motherhood, I mean, even no matter how, I know I'm very new to it, but in these 8 months, plus 9 months of carrying him, I was already a mother the day I knew that I conceived him,
right.
the baby.
Absolutely.
But I knew that I won't be perfect, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's something that my mom also told me. You're not going to get everything. Not, you won't be able to feed him exactly in those times. You won't be able to get him to bed exactly at that time. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's something that, I feel everybody should be told before they set some kind of standards for them. Especially, I mean, I have huge respect for mothers who you post on Instagram that this is how you're supposed to do at each stage. I'm like, I salute them. I'm like, you are doing so much for your kid, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I can't do it.
And that's the acceptance that brings us confidence, because again, the whole thing that we keep putting ourselves, what will happen, and I think your profession and my profession has helped me do that, because I also met many mothers. I also met many kinds of mothers in these last 20 years of photographing. I was India's first baby and child photographer. I've stepped into different kinds of families, finding families, they embracing photography. I've done all that. And in all that as well, the only learning I could take was that go crazy and just let go. Even if you're called crazy, then just let go, because
Let go is the word. Let go are
like,
the words that.
like people are still ask. I remember my older one was 1.5 year old, and I was in a shoot, and that's the second time I left him back, because he had started just going on one feed for sleep in the afternoon, and I was still breastfeeding him, and so I was shooting, and I was like, oh God, just like already 2 o'clock. It's good. At 3 he's going to sleep. I need to rush. So she's like, why do you need to rush? Somebody will be there and he'll sleep. I said, no, he'll not sleep because I need to breastfeed him. I'd got him into the habit of breastfeeding and sleeping. That you figure it out what mistakes you do. And I said, no, he's out to sleep. And so I was trying to pack up quickly and leave, because I knew he'll be throwing a big tantrum. And they're like, how old is your son? I was like, 1.5. Like, 1.5, and you're still breastfeeding, and he still sleeps after breastfeeding? I'm like, yeah. My son started sleeping at 6 months. I said, but my son still doesn't sleep. I can't help it. Like, I still have to go. And with the second one, I decided I will make sure that he doesn't sleep while breastfeeding, because it restricts me. And poor guy is dependent on me if he has to sleep and if I have to go somewhere. And he's worse than him. Why? Because he turned out to be a colic baby, which I didn't know how to deal with. I'd not dealt with a colic before, and then he turned out to be, if it's called colic, because then I read a book, there's nothing called colic apparently as well.
I know they colicky babies, no, but it is there. It's true.
Yes,
I don't know. No matter what the term is, we know that that was colic.
yes, that was colic. And I dealt with that, and I started. I said, I will not make you used to by breastfeeding and sleeping. No, 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 no. It's really like poor guy also suffered because of me. And then I started rocking him and making him sleep, and then he became bigger and bigger and bigger. And when he became 8 months, I couldn't rock him anymore. I'm like, forget it. You take, like, that's the only option I've left. You do breastfeeding and you sleep, and you will wean off one fine day. So that's what it is. Like, you can't control it, and that's what it is. Just let go.
Yeah, let go. And that's what right now. And so I don't think I've slept at all in the past 8 months. Everybody told me, my friends who've had babies before me, they told that get the sleep that you, or at least for the next 6 months you can't sleep. I'm here at 8 months and he still wakes up 5 times at night. And people tell me, oh, you are the person who made him like that. You kept feeding him at night. That is why. I said, I'm learning. That's all. If he's asking for milk, I'm giving. I mean, how can I? If you're hungry and somebody doesn't feed you, how would you feel? That's all I ask them.
And that comes from your work. That's where your work starts stepping in. And because I'm very inspired by nature, I always felt, like very early in my life, I realized that the milk in my body is not mine. It was not there till this baby came out. So it was provided to me for the baby.
Yes.
Simple. And of course, I'm vegan as well. So another level of not giving milk. But I said, so I got that understanding very clear that it doesn't belong to you, it belongs to him. It's his food. So at least give him till the time that he can actually understand that now it's enough. Your mother's going crazy. My son still gets up 6 times a night and he's turning 2 in just 20 days. And people just keep blaming me that you've totally lost it and now you're doing this project as well and you need to sleep and whatever. But at the same time, I am operating
those
from
lines are very resonating with what I am listening to now.
Yeah, because I am thinking that when he stops, this milk will go away. When he comes in my life, this milk is going to come. So it doesn't belong to me. So am I deciding all the time what he needs and why he needs and when he needs? Because nature knows the best, and the baby already knows what he wants. We interfere too much, and it is difficult. It is as if sometimes you want to get up and break the window, because 2 years is a long time of not sleeping and having 6 to 7 breastfeeding even now. And my little one is another level. He says, stand up, sit down, do this, do that. Now I started saying all that. I'm like, are you going to even tell me where I need to breastfeed you, what I need to do? Like, that's what he does. So I understand what you're saying, and I'm totally with you. I'm definitely your shade of a mother who thinks that, fine, let's go, let go of this. And it's a good thing that we're having this conversation, because we're both at different stage of breastfeeding. I'm always hopefully reaching the weaning off stage very soon, and that's going to be it. It's going to be emotional as well for me.
It's going to be emotional, yes, because we've had, so a part of my profession is also, dealing with children who have feeding disorders.
Really?
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So when we say swallowing, so my interest is highly skewed in neuro rehab patients, but my field also deals with infant feeding. So we look at patients as young as in the NICU, so the neonatal intensive care units. So babies who can't latch on, babies, we also help in putting them on tubes if they're premature. So those kind of, we are also there. So that's partly why I tried to turn myself off when it came to my baby, because I knew what could go wrong. I knew, and there are like 100 people telling me also about it. That, oh, if you don't do this now, this will happen. If you don't do this now, this will happen. Even though I am worried, I know what could go wrong. But somewhere I think, there is a balance of how much of my knowledge needs to be executed in upbringing of my own child. So the whole journey of breastfeeding is, I'm known to it and I'm experiencing it, and I hope, I think I'm going to be very emotional when it ends, as much as I'm cribbing about it now. But like how wherever you are reaching right now, it's going to be a very emotional.
And that's why I've postponed it till this project, because I'm already soaking in so much intense energy with so many mothers and everything. And I've told myself that if he doesn't wean off, I'm not even doing that, because I will crumble and I will be totally breaking down, because there will be this project which is going to become a reality very soon, soaked in 100 energies. And then at the same time, I'd like, forget it, 2 more months, you can go ahead. And I'm more okay with not sleeping for 2 more months, but I'm not okay with not experiencing, because no more kids for sure coming. Two is enough for me. And I'm just going to like experience that in the most beautiful way, that my motherhood part of the early thing is getting over. And it is very emotional. And you know what, you just said that you switched off, but you switched on your motherhood. So I think you did switch off Eliza, who is a speech therapist who deals with all these things, but you did switch on, which is the most important thing for a new mom, to switch her on. And I was told by a very wise pediatrician, Eliza, once, and this shall help you and any new mother who's watching. I went to him and I said, I'm a little crazy. I always like had 2-3 opinions before I actually did anything to children, because I thought that I just need to know before I even give a medicine. And I had been recommended to a doctor in Delhi, and he's 3 generations, so he was in his 70s when I went to him. And you can imagine that he's used to kids who are very, very. So he went there, and I went with cold, with my son having a 2-month-old having cold, and I knew that I should not be worried, but I just still wanted to know, because I was like, let me know. And I went to him and I told him that, he's like, don't come to me for at least 7 more days. So I was like, okay. Like, if on the 8th day the cold is still there, then come to me, otherwise this is normal. So just don't come to me, because you're just wasting your time, and good time you can have with the baby. So I smiled, and then he's like, I was just turning around and going, and he stopped me and he's like, let me tell you, my dear, that when you become a mother, a whole encyclopedia is downloaded the minute your child is inside of your womb, by nature. Just follow that encyclopedia and you will absolutely know what to do. You will not have to ask when your child is at risk and when your child is not, when your child is okay, when your child is not. You will know it with your gut instinct telling you all the time, directing you wherever. And I made that my Bible. There were times like one of the times my child had bronchitis attack and he was coughing, and I realized it was a wheezing, it was something, and he was skipping a breath like and doing it. And I kept on telling people around me. By that time, I was called this obsessed mother. I want to do a book called Obsessed Mother. But
I
I'll interview there also. So I was like, I immediately started saying that there's something wrong with him.
Yes.
And everybody was just like, listen, you've been told it's just cold and cough. I said, no, it's not the normal cold and cough. There's something wrong because I'm hearing it. I'm hearing when he's next to me, I'm hearing it. I didn't listen to anybody. I straight away rushed him to the hospital. And he was immediately put on nebulizer. He was immediately put on a little oxygen thing given to him because he was getting a bad infection in his lungs. And I didn't need a doctor to tell me that he needed support at that time. And I just rushed him on my own. I didn't even wait for the driver. I just rushed him straight. And then they all came and they said, you were right. You know,
As cliche as it may sound, that motherly instinct is true.
it's very true.
Like,
Yes.
it's that's what it, I mean, I'm glad that you had an encounter with a doctor who could actually explain it to you at that early stage, no? And I'm glad that through this you're able to tell me and many people who are watching right now.
It's a very good message because you see in nature, a bear gives the birth, a polar bear or a bear will give a birth, and then no hibernation is important for 6 months. I don't need to eat. Simple. There is no mother who leads any bear mother is given any instructions how to take your child into that hibernation, how many months later you need to come out, and how far you need to walk to get your first meal for your child. And she just keeps breastfeeding, becoming thinner. If you go and get inspired by many mothers, did you know that an octopus mother? I've cried. I saw this film called The Octopus Teacher. When octopus mates, they mate one time in their life, and then they mate, generally they die. But what happens is the male generally dies, I think, and the female is just sitting there protecting her young ones for as long as they need. And then she's totally gone because she's not eaten, she's not done anything. And when they all are ready to leave her, that's the time she gets released, and she's totally frail and usually eaten by a big fish or something. And that's her, because she can't even walk. And this movie is all about this octopus who's just like walking and crawling and fooling and very joyful. This man falls in love with this octopus who's he's following, and she's very joyful, and she fools him, and she fools a shark so many times, and she does something, and in the end she just lying down and she was taken by the same shark she was fooling, because she became a mom and she knew it was her end. That's what nature told her in her encyclopedia, and she submitted. You submit. And this is where I think someday my work will come, because that's the way. Another thing, mothers keep getting entangled into the whole thing, that what is right, what is wrong, where should we listen, what should we do, what should we not do, how long, what it is. You're not excited when the child happened, you're sad, you're this, like there's so much happening
A lot of
around.
stigma also associated with, the mother taking in charge of things. You're expected to listen to people who have had experience. Of course, I've been told by somebody very wise, you honor what the experienced people have told you, but you decide what is good for your own kid.
Right.
Right. So I mean, revolting is not going to do good to anybody. But yeah, so that's something like you just pointed out, right? That's something very important, that as mothers, and I think work balance also, we're talking about mom entrepreneurs also here. So I mean, that itself,
The project has gone beyond mom entrepreneurs.
yeah, and that's also part of us now. Like being a mom, we consider everything else also, that uh, I've changed after becoming a mom. I look at things differently, and I'm glad that I do.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
let
glad
it
that
be
you
work, let it be family. My child has changed me
Yeah.
in a
I'm
good
glad
way.
that you say that. I'm glad that you say that. And that's the whole thing. And that's why this book is getting this pulse, Lisa, is because, and why I'm glad we're discussing the way we are. And that's why I like my lives, because I just take it spontaneously to some places, because some mother will benefit out of it. Some mother needs this conversation to happen. Some mother needs to feel that she's absolutely okay doing what she's okay, and hence still show up with being that mother. Like even if I've had a tough night, sometimes 8 o'clock in the morning with my eyes like this, I'm doing the interview and I get messages, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm just had a sleepless night, that's it. you know there's nothing wrong with me, and I still decided to do this project. And the reason I decided to do right in the middle of going, just to tell mothers that it's possible to be your kind of mother, to have your own experiences, to go through ups and downs, but still achieve and dream the way you want to, right?
Yes.
and make
Yes.
impact. And you are making an impact. You're so beautifully making impact. At the same time, you're grounded to be holding your space as a mother, but at the same time, it does not dilute what you need to do, where your passion is. So I must tell you this: you will become even more intense after becoming a mother with the kind of work you're doing. It'll move you
Hmm.
even more because the mother's heart is not the same when she becomes a mother. It just doesn't remain the same, and it
Well,
will become so intense that when you will see another child coming to you, I mean, I don't know, I for you will become even more passionate to save that child because you activated in reality the mother instinct even more than you
hmm.
already were born with, I think.
No? And I can't wait. That's all I can say. I can't wait.
Yes. And I'm so glad that we're bringing you here in front of everybody to, and being one of the moms. If any mothers at any time has any kind of issues that she spoke about, please reach out to Eliza. I'm sure she'll be very helpful. And you're just beautiful. I totally full, in my heart right now, Eliza, to have this conversation openly because, for me, I have to keep taking myself through rides, this 100 shades, I'll have to keep figuring out which 100 shade, um, I still don't relate to. But somehow, till now, I have been able to relate to all 45. Some story or the other comes out, and so, it'll definitely be another 55 mothers coming in. And somewhere I would be totally taken aback and say, my God, this shade I did not know, like this shade I did not know. And some mother will relate to her. So thank you for being so awesome. Yeah. Are you scared of your self portrait, Eliza? Taking a self portrait and releasing your story? I'm just asking generally because just become a mom recently.
Honestly, I may find it a little tough to go through with it, but I don't think it's impossible for me.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I'm glad. I wanted to hear that. I actually knew it. You will say that because. So I would love to see your story coming out in a portrait. What's your dream, Eliza? What's your dream? Let's put out your dream.
My dream, I can't put my dream into words. Like how, like how we put that sentence, you made that sentence earlier, no, you have to be, it should be on the go. I think I need to do my best no matter what I'm doing. Just be at back. So if you ask me as a mother what my dream is, that it would be something.
As a
If you
career,
ask me as a career woman what my dream is, it would be something else. But
but as Eliza, this is one thing I grant you. I say this is your dream, and I tell you, because this book is called 100 Self Portrait, 100 Dreams. What is that one dream you would like to put that people would read it for years to come in the book and see it magically happening? Because I also know that the minute it will go in this book, I don't know why I behave like this woo kind of a person, but something in my gut knows that when it goes in this book, a lot of dreams are going to come true.
okay, so if you ask me, with all honesty from my heart, if I tell you,
Honestly.
like how people invent things, right? I want to invent a treatment plan
Oh, wow.
that is going to bring back language through the use of there's something called functional magnetic resonance imaging. So MRI,
Right.
we use a dye to do it. I want to invent something, a kind of treatment using that. So that's what I'm trying to get into research and PhD in, the next coming years. So that's I mean, it's a very small thing if you ask me. And some people have told me, you're not even being real right now, but that's my dream.
You know, can I just say this to you? I was told the same thing when this project started. You're not being real. 100 days, 100 women, you will not find them. Where will you find them? First find them, then talk about it. I want 45th number. And I've been told this 100 times. And when you're told this, that's a perfect sign that you're absolutely on the right path. Take this from me. Take
Oh,
this from me ahead because I started very early at the age of 18 as a photographer. Then I headed a poetry movement and I went into a health journey. By the way, like I'm into whole food plant based, just for FII. And for 4 years, I was told that autoimmune cannot, like, you cannot go back to this. You will have to take steroids, not me, my husband. And steroids will be the only way to get through this. And I said, I know something because Dr. Nandita Shah became my mentor, and I had attended one of her seminars, and I told him nothing doing. And this is a girl who flunked through and through. I keep saying it, from class 1 to class 10. Academics was a zero. I was always a cultural, Three Idiots, Tare Zameen Pe kind of a child, doing something different. But the amount of books I read just to get him out, to align him to whole food plant based, to align him for reversal of his disease, we've totally reversed it. And not only that, we inspired many families to say that it's possible. And we did like 12 seminars in our house when we were on the journey, and everybody was telling me and looking at me that she's going to take him down the drain. She's not allowing any medicines to go to him, and he will not. And Rohit has turned 360 degrees in his transformation as a human. He's had this journey. We as couple have changed totally, because we did it brick by brick by brick by brick when we were being told that it's not going to happen. You're totally crazy. I was looked at. So, and now I was looked at it again. So I'm telling you, if somebody says you're totally being unrealistic, is the biggest sign that you're on your path. And in mentors, definitely follow that path. So you've got the first tick mark. I think you need the second one now. You need the second one, and my wishes are there for you, Eliza, for
Thank
that.
you. Thank you so much. Working on it.
It'll happen. It'll happen. And I would be one person who would be definitely celebrating it. For sure.
We'll be celebrating it together. Let's hope so.
You're in the book of 100 moms. All of us will celebrate each other very soon. And I know your baby's waiting, and we need to go. He's given you good 45 minutes, I think, or maybe more.
Yes. Or maybe more. He's given me more. Looks like he knows.
He's given you more than that. So we're very thankful to him. And good luck with raising this beautiful baby. Waiting for your pictures to come in, your stories to come in. Dr. Manisha is here as well, and she's amazing as well. She's a gynecologist, and we just interviewed her.
One of your last.
Yeah, so. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you so much.
Love to you. If I was in Bangalore, I would have definitely met you. I just moved out from there 5 months back. But Bangalore has a special connection last 5 years for me. I will be there and I'll come and see you.
Yeah. Looking forward. Thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to a lot of things together. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. And Dr. Manisha, thank you for sharing. Katrina is saying. Kavita is also here. Gia is. Let me just see what Gia said. When we prepare of what's expected, we often overlook the little window that brings in unexpected. Yeah, she's like my one baby. I probably adopted without her knowing. I adopted her 10 years back. She was my student. I taught her, I mentored her to become a baby photographer. So, yes. So I'm going off live. Thank you so much. This was beautiful. Thank you.